What an episode this is, boys. So Ned has spent the last 6 months working in New Zealand and Fiji, doing the unusual combination of evangelism and extreme sports. So whether you're either a Christian or even aren't and just find it interesting hearing different people's philosophical stories, I can guarantee this episode is packed with entertaining stories of Ned's personal experiences over the last 6 months. Obviously, disclaimer, this episode is very Christian heavy as Ned shares his own personal opinions and perspectives. So if that's not for you, feel free to listen to one of our other episodes. Multiple times throughout this episode, myself, Will and Charlie were left speechless. So I'm Joel Saunders and I present to you our third guest episode, Ned Littlemore. Mr. Ned Littlemore, welcome to the Man Den. How are you feeling today?
I'm doing very good, Joel. Very good. I'm excited to be on. I'm excited to have a talk with you boys about what's been happening and
yeah, we've got a lot to learn. I'm really excited for this one, I have to say. I'm really excited.
I feel like when we started the podcast, you were actually in another continent, and we were thinking we're bouncing off each other different guest ideas, and I was just scrolling through Instagram and I saw the sort of photos you were putting out, and I was like, even if someone's not a Christian, even if someone doesn't know who you are, this story either way, I feel like it's one that you'd want to tune into for different reasons, different people. But I've been very excited about this.
Yeah, it's a story you don't get to hear much in the media, I don't think.
Exactly. I feel like it's quite a protected topic, isn't it? So
yeah, it seems
you can bring something nice with you.
Yeah, it's been an exciting 6 months, so I'm excited that more people can hear about it and hear about the amazing journey it's been. So pretty stoked.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, I'm joined by my two fellow co-hosts, Charlie Kruger.
Right.
He's got a buzz cut now.
I do.
Looks good.
Thank you very much. Thought I'd freshen up for summer, you see.
Yeah. Big change from the mullet.
Yeah,
sort
exactly.
of polar opposites. And obviously Will's here, still 6 foot. How tall are you now?
6'4".
Oh,
Yeah.
you've grown. Or
Yeah, grown a little bit. Yeah, grown a couple.
He's always growing.
Couple feet.
What do you eat? It must be something in like
Just steroids.
Oh, okay.
Just
He's up front about it.
Yeah.
Next Liver King. All right, we are going to get into something that we introduced in our second guest episode, but since then now both guests have given their answers, and it's a little game that we like to call "What Would You Bring to Space?" And we're asking each of our guests this, and then at the end we rank the answers, and we've got a little leaderboard. And so, I guess we're going to get into it. So you're being sent into space. You're stranded in a spaceship all alone, and you're given all the essential items that you need. Your food, your drink, all of that. But you can bring with you 2 items that can't be your phone. What are you bringing?
So the first one, Joel. First one is a waffle machine.
A waffle machine.
Okay, because waffles are just like too good.
Okay.
And also waffles are very versatile. You can go savoury, you can go sweet, you can go bacon, you can go Nutella. And I think in 3 years I won't get bored of them.
You won't get bored.
I won't get bored of them.
I don't think I've ever had a waffle made in a machine.
How do you do that?
I don't think I've
never had a waffle.
I don't think I've ever used a waffle machine.
So the classic eggs, flour, milk, bit of sugar.
Same as
and
pancake.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
but self-raising flour. You
gotta
make sure.
Yeah.
You don't want a flat waffle.
No, exactly. You want a nice fluffy.
Yeah.
And then just put it in the machine, close the lid, and let the waffle machine do the work.
Would you ever put like something in the waffle?
I've seen people do that. I haven't myself. I'm quite new.
You can try that in space.
I'm quite new to the industry. But
I guess you got one recently.
The waffle industry.
Yeah. So I think that would be my first. That would be my first item.
Interesting. I like that. And I feel like you're going to get a nice mark either way because we've had a similar answer that did do quite well.
I'll say panini answer.
Well, they're toasty, yeah.
But I feel like I'd rather go for.
I'd rather have a waffle.
I'd rather have a waffle maker.
And do you know what? Off the top of my head, I can't even remember what we gave our previous guest for the toasty. Just so that we're getting a picture into the inside of your life with these waffles, what would be, do you reckon, like, what's your favourite, what's the most common thing that you're putting as a topping or a filling or whatever with these waffles?
I think for this waffle, I think we're just going classic Nutella.
Okay, nice.
Having been in New Zealand for the last about 6 months and Fiji, like the knockoff stuff in New Zealand, shout out Pack and Save.
Okay.
You do that, Charlie?
No, I don't know the branding of Nutella, I'm afraid.
But Pack and Save own brand Nutella is like so good. So
Okay,
it's a special one. So I'd have to go just Nutella.
There's a story behind it. I like it.
But the reason why the waffle is pretty versatile.
Yeah, I've never met anyone who said that they didn't like a waffle.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're gonna rate each of these things out of 5. We're gonna start with Will. What are you saying out of 5 for that?
I like it, but I think again there's so much versatility. But again, I think this is similar with the other one with the panini. Is I don't know. I get so bored after like so quickly because you've got 24 hours in a day.
Okay.
Like the amount of waffles I could make, it's driving me insane. I just have waffles. Like I'd like eat one.
You'd be
and
sick?
Like, yeah, I'd probably feel quite sick of waffles again.
Waffles for breakfast, waffles for dinner.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
oh.
There's waffles floating around the spaceship everywhere.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you have them all the time.
No.
But
Just a
it's
treat.
just
Yeah.
it's a bonus.
Yeah, I suppose. Okay. All right. Well, for me, I'd probably put it. I'll give it a 3 out of 10.
3 out of 5.
3
out of 5.
You got scared by it.
Sorry.
scared.
Not that low.
Let's not be too harsh.
Yeah.
Charlie.
I think it's going to make the spaceship smell amazing. I've had that before.
We haven't mentioned that. When you walk into
Yeah.
a house and someone's cooking waffles and pancakes,
Yeah.
it's different.
Sounds like Charlie
you
likes it more than Will.
You get butterflies in your stomach. Just and yeah, I think for the potential of that, I'm going to give it 3.5.
Always going up.
Yeah. Because we're doing half points, aren't we?
We are.
But we're
Absolutely.
not going. We're not going more specific. than halves.
Just 5.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got to think about this because I've got to think. Basically, we can relate this to toasties and waffles. What are you more likely to eat more? What did you mean by savoury waffle? Because I don't think I've had that before.
So like my friend, shout out Hayden Stanbury,
Okay.
from North Carolina.
I'm sure he's listening.
I hope he is. I hope he is. And so there's a place called Waffle House in America,
Okay.
and you can get like bacon on your pancakes. You can get like eggs.
Oh right. So
You
the
can-
toppings itself.
Yeah, the
Oh,
toppings itself are savoury, so
Okay.
you can like basically full English on
That's
a waffle.
Is Waffle House like renowned for being quite dodgy?
Oh, so is it like a
Isn't
chain
it?
chain of
Is it
restaurants?
not, or is it just?
I don't think it is.
Oh.
All right. Well, I feel like.
chicken and waffles? That's the
Oh,
classic combo,
no.
isn't it?
On our group chat, I mean, we'll talk about the name of the group chat later.
Yeah.
Which is like pretty British, but
Yeah.
on our school chat, we Hayden sent through a video of like chicken tenders on waffles.
Oh,
Nice.
Of like big
Nice, yeah.
American like size
Oh,
chicken
yeah,
tenders.
yeah.
Oh,
Like
mate.
it looked good.
Oh,
So
All right.
yeah.
So what's your
What's
score, Joel?
I'm gonna agree with Charlie, and I'm gonna go 3.5.
3.5. That's a
3.5.
solid,
Happy days.
solid score.
I think so far you're doing better than either of the 2 previous guests.
Well,
Nice.
what's number 2?
Well, number 2, I'm gonna go for a bouncy castle.
Are you like on the dead side? He's on the dead space.
Clever.
Yeah.
Space.
Oh
no,
no,
you
double bounce, double fun.
Ned, you're a genius.
It's just too much fun.
I've got to admit, right, I did not think that, obviously, like, Waffle Maker is a good answer, but following that, I did not think that I might be giving this a 5, because
Yeah, it's just too good. It's just too good.
you've hit that out of the park, and you've saved that best till last.
I don't think I need to explain much.
No.
I think it
What?
explains itself.
What happens if you bounce too high and hit like?
Yeah, it's
The
going to have
side
to
of
be
the
a
wall.
massive,
Are you,
massive
massive
rocket
roof.
ship.
Yeah,
like
big
we're
spaceship.
sort of on like
Yeah.
the Millennium Falcon, so there is bouncing room. I think maybe if you wear a helmet, it's all right.
Yeah.
Wear your space helmet.
You're on the
That is
Millennium
quite cool.
Falcon.
I'm just like to have fun. You're in space.
yeah.
Cherish the moment. Get a
Yeah.
bouncy castle.
Do you
Genuinely
need
genius.
the bouncy castle to bounce though in space?
I mean, not really, but you want extra bounce.
you want the extra.
Yeah, you want the
bounce.
extra bounce. You want to go
If you
big,
put it
go
on, like,
home.
imagine you put it on a wall and you could like
Oh,
bounce like,
into
from,
the
like,
wall.
yeah, the
back
corridor.
from one
Oh,
side
that'd be
to the
so
other.
cool.
Like air hop in space.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
I'm-
actually quite cool.
I'm genuinely like very impressed by that answer. Like I feel like if we weren't in space and we were just in a random house, I'd give that like a 3, because obviously a bouncy castle is cool, but after a while you get bored. But the fact that you've got 0 gravity,
Yeah.
I
Why
think.
deflate.
yeah.
Why would you burst it by
Oh,
accident?
yeah.
Oh, that's just
you gotta be
fucking-
careful.
It doesn't burst.
Just
It doesn't
okay,
burst.
Okay.
Let's not ruin.
We're
it.
high budget. We're high
There's no
budget.
like you burst on the first day.
Yeah.
We're high budget
All
here.
you've got is your waffle maker.
Yeah.
All right. Will, what are we saying?
I'm gonna give it a 3.8.
We're not. We're doing.
No,
that.
no,
It's
no,
alright.
no.
Well, because the current score is the 3.3 out of 10.
No.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because if you add it
Yeah,
up,
because
but-
10, but just no. Just 2.5.
No, I don't
3.5.
want to do 3.5. I don't want to do 4. I want to put it in the middle. 3.8, please.
Are we?
Please,
Because this,
I
I feel
don't-
like this is
please
an
don't
issue.
do- 8.
At this point, do we need to double it to 10 and then make it out of 10?
3.8.
Right, but we've got to keep this moving,
We
boys.
can't do 3.8.
No, Will, I'm saying I'm putting my foot down.
3.5
It has to be a
3.5
3.5.
it is. I'm very sorry.
3.5.
Very sorry.
Don't worry, I'm going to save you this. Charlie.
Yeah, 4.5.
Wow,
I think that's banging.
that's
I think it's
generous.
banging.
Thank you very much.
No problem. I think you deserve it.
Handshakes given there.
I don't think I would normally do this, and this is genuinely, it's not because like you're my mate, but I really like this answer. And I think for the first time, and I'm sure not for the last, I feel like this is going to be a first of the 5 out of 5 answer on the league.
Let's
Whoa,
go.
golden buzzer moment. Look at
Yes.
that.
I mean, Britain's Got Talent semi-final.
Let's go.
Right. Let me quickly add up the scores. So
that's atrocious.
The first round was 10 out of 15, and the second round was
Will's done it already, John.
Overall, it's 7.63 out of 10.
so 7.6.
7.6.
Oh wait, oh no,
7.6.
because 7.63 because my dad's was 5.25.
Yeah.
7.63. So you're currently first on the leaderboard because Noah had 7 just on the dot.
Congratulations.
Well done.
You know
Well
what?
done.
I don't. To the audience, I don't know how much you enjoyed that, but I really enjoyed that. Like, this is my favourite like starter segment, I reckon.
Maybe the maths was a bit much there, but
Yeah, we got the answer. we got the answer. Yeah, we got the answer in the end.
Yeah.
And so you sit at top of the leaderboard. And so
Well done.
Yeah,
Happy days.
we're gonna
First
move,
out through.
Go.
we're gonna move on to the get to know questions, where you're gonna get to know more of the personality of your guest of today's episode.
Yeah.
So, question 1. If you were locked in a 5-star kitchen with every ingredient in the world, what do you think you could make that would seem the most impressive to the judges?
Well, I think like to be impressive, it's got to be like visually okay, but then like taste, it's got to be good.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I think like people can say like fancy dishes, but like I don't know how to make that. So I'm just gonna go like the classic fajitas.
Oh,
Oh,
that was
yeah.
my thinking
Okay,
as well.
because like
Yeah, they're nice.
you could make some like in a 5-star kitchen. You got nice like fresh ingredients. So like
Yeah.
a good set of fajitas.
Yeah.
That just
Oh.
is different.
Yeah.
It's
Some
good.
Warm.
Homemade guacamole. Just get
Yeah.
some avocado.
Yeah,
Nachos,
yeah.
chili,
Bit of chili,
chicken.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
Some,
cheese.
some guacamole, cheese.
Cheese.
Oh yeah,
Cheese.
it's good. It's good. That's what I make.
I like that.
With tomatoes in
Yeah,
your
Oh,
yeah,
fresh
oh, yeah.
tomato.
Yeah,
But
everything,
you have
everything.
your salsa
But
as
the-
well, yeah.
Mhm.
The only problem with fajitas is that if you put too much in the wrap,
It just falls apart.
yeah, just trying to
Yeah,
fold it's
yeah.
difficult.
So we're going to get some massive wraps of these.
Yeah. Jumbo.
They're just going to have burritos. Yeah.
Question 2, Charlie.
If you could live in one storyline from a book or film, what would it be?
I think living in like an actual film would be kind of cool. Like I think like Mission Impossible or like
Yeah.
Jurassic Park sort of vibes.
And are you
Nice.
going for a main character or just someone
Or
in
are
this
you
world?
Are you or are you a
Yeah.
character?
I think like I don't know, just being in the film.
Yeah.
Like whether that's like an extra, because that'd be really cool in life. Like,
Yeah.
as like claim to fame being an extra,
Yeah.
or just like being in the film,
Yeah.
just seeing it all happen.
Would it not be
Good.
scary though, like to walk around with like
Dinosaurs.
dinosaurs on the
Dinosaurs, yeah.
on the
You've
run?
gone to
But-
Jurassic.
Yeah,
was it
yeah. And
islands?
the dinosaurs are out again for it's the 5th time this week.
What's
Yeah,
new?
because-
Every time I come here.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool being
That's a good answer.
being Chris Pratt.
Sorry to interrupt,
Actually.
but I just wanted to double check Will's maths, and this wouldn't matter
Oh,
if it was
no.
worse.
Oh,
Oh,
John.
Ned got a higher score,
Ned got a higher
A
score.
higher score?
7.67.
7.6.
Let's go.
It was 3.5, 3.5.
No, look, we'll
No.
sort it out later.
It's 10 plus
okay?
13, 23 divided by 3 is 7.67.
Yeah,
23 divided
I'm
by
not quite
3.
sure, but
Yeah.
10.
sounds good.
I'm the one that does maths here, but like.
Question number 3.
Yeah,
If you could, did you say you wanted the tattoo one? If you could get a tattoo right now, what would it be?
it would probably be the Remarkables mountain range with maybe like a cross and a Bible verse on it.
Ooh.
But we'll get on to that later.
That's
That'd be
where'd
quite
you
a
pick
big
that?
one.
Sorry,
Quite a big one, that. One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just because it's like a huge part of my journey in faith. So
Brilliant. And
Um,
where would you put that on your body?
maybe like bicep or like thigh. Probably like my arm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I've got a
probably,
few.
probably like under my t-shirt line. So
Yeah,
it'd be there, but like
covered up by 2.
yeah, for like work and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get some mountain on the bicep. That'd be pretty good. That.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
quite a special place to me, Queenstown.
It
So.
is gorgeous.
Oh,
Yeah.
Question number 4, Will.
I was too busy on the calculator.
Realised I was right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Will.
Yeah. Question number 4. 3 or 4?
4.
3. 4. What is one profession besides your current one that you think you could immediately go pro in?
What were the ones given by? What did your dad say?
So my dad said that he'd be town planner.
Okay.
And
Because
no,
he thought it'd be easy and fun.
yeah, and Noah said actor.
Actor.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I reckon. There's a competition. I think it's like the world's worst golfer.
What?
And it's like the Masters, but it happens like for the worst golfers.
What?
And they shoot like 100 over.
No,
So I reckon I could compete in that.
Are they trying
Yeah.
to get the worst? Or they're trying to get the best?
No. They're just like really bad.
They're
golfers.
because they are trying to
They
win.
get
trying to
invited
get
to like
kept.
prestigious courses.
Yeah,
and, like,
okay.
They get crowds, and it's like
Do you get paid for that?
I'm not sure, but like there was one hole I saw where they had like the tee box and then like a pond of water and then like the flag,
Okay.
Oh,
and
no.
like people would take like 20 shots
Oh
to
wow.
like get on the green. So I think I could compete in that.
Do you play a lot of golf yourself?
I played 2 weeks ago with a friend from Montana in the States, and
Nice.
it didn't go great, but the 18th hole was pretty cool because I slam dunked it from like 36 yards. So I chipped on.
It's not basketball, mate.
That's a golf term.
Basically, I chipped onto the green and it went in the hole without bouncing.
That's
So
wow.
it went
Yeah.
straight in.
That is
Wow.
massive.
But then,
It's like the opposite of an airball.
Yeah.
but then like that was after hitting probably like 200 shots in 18 holes.
Yeah.
So you probably would go pro in this then.
Yeah, pretty much. So that would be my.
That's
that
quite
would be-
clever. Yeah.
World's
That's really
worst
clever.
golfer.
It's good. I think that's my favourite answer we've had of the 3 guests so far.
That's me.
Question and the final question of the Get to Know series. What is one superpower that you'd want?
I think having travelled back to New Zealand and from New Zealand,
Mhm.
and that taking like maybe like 25 hours.
Days.
And-
Literally days.
And like a friend of mine, Daniel, took him 5 flights to get home to the States, to Washington. So I think teleportation. I think your
Nice.
dad mentioned it.
Okay.
Mm.
Just helps so much.
Yeah. Where are some places you'd want to visit?
Yeah, there'd be some. Probably go back to New Zealand,
Nice.
Fiji, see some friends.
Yeah. Any new countries?
I think Australia.
Nice.
Yeah.
You haven't been to Australia.
I haven't been to
You're
Australia.
You were that close, and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, is it that close? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 hours.
So it's like
Oh,
going
still
to like Newcastle, no, like Northumberland.
It'll be like
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to like
5-hour flight though.
Yeah.
Oh right.
Yeah.
I think we
Yeah,
drive.
yeah.
It's
I
like
was gonna
flying
say,
to Turkey.
Yeah.
I think we meant
Yeah,
drive.
it's not. Yeah. On the map, it looks closer, but.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no.
It's quite a trick.
Awesome. Well, I enjoyed all 5 of those answers, and I think it's time for us to get into the interview, which I've been waiting genuinely weeks for. I was waiting until you got back home.
Nice.
Prepping this for months.
So Ned, I've known you most of my life, really. I moved to the town that we live in about 10 years ago, and your family was one that my parents seemed to really get along with very nicely. And as I say, I've known you all my life, but having met up with you a couple of times since you got back home, I've really noticed quite a difference in how you are since the trip. And obviously that's inevitable with any trip, but for something that's like such a long amount of time in such a different environment, I was really interested to learn how that had an effect on you, that sort of changed who you are. I'm sure it matured you. But as I say in the previous guest episodes, every good story, like the one that you've sort of gone through over the last year, starts with a good beginning. And I'd be really interested to know how yours begun. So I'd love you to take us back to sort of the early life before you got into the journey that you're about to tell us, and who you were even before being like the sort of Christian and man that you are now. What were you like as a child?
Yeah. So as a child, earliest memories like playing football on a Saturday park pitch,
Yeah.
and grew up in a loving family. Love my mum, love my dad, sister Lucy, Pete. So grew up in a great home. And yeah, grew up watching Fulham. That's family club, which is cool. Local team. Then played cricket as well. So very active childhood.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of my passion came from sports.
Awesome.
And then grew up in a Christian family, so I was brought along to church from early age, which was super great.
Awesome.
In my upbringing. And then went to two local schools.
Okay.
And that was really great. Had a great time there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Pretty decent.
Lovely stuff.
Very good. Do you have early memories of first going into like? I mean, there's sort of two components to this trip. There's the Christian side of it, which is obviously why you got it, but then there's also the travel and the extreme sports, which is actually a little secret that we haven't even talked about yet. But do you have early memories of either of those two sides of the trip before the trip?
Oh yeah, so like obviously growing up in a background of sports, like I really enjoyed playing it, and then I had a friend come back from who did the same school the year before me, from our church, and they came back and they said it was really life-changing, and so I looked into it because I was thinking of doing a gap year because like my work ethic in school was very much like work hard, knuckle down, try and get as good as grades as possible, and then like I really wanted a break from school. I wanted to have like a year off where I could like travel, or that was the plan beforehand. And then my friend came back from New Zealand who did YWAM and just said it was completely life changing, and shared memories of like what she did, and that really interested me. And then at the time I was like, it combines church and extreme sports, because our school was, so YWAM, if you don't know, stands for Youth with a Mission, and they do different schools. So the school that I was on was called a discipleship training school, and at the time I thought it was, like extreme sports and church combined, and they were like two of my passions, like playing sports,
just praying while skydiving.
I thought it was like a mixture of both, but then like as I learned, YWAM is not a church; it's an organization that equips people to like share the gospel and to like make God known and to know God. Which was like incredible, and is incredible, and the work around the globe is like fantastic.
Awesome.
So that was like the building block in terms of like my friend coming back and just really recommending it to me. Then the combination of like having a gap year.
Had you always had quite an interest in extreme sports then before that? Like, had you ever done it before?
I'd done cliff jumping in France, in Croatia, and Wales. So I'd done that like on holiday.
Awesome.
But like I'd never gone skydiving, never gone bungee jumping.
Is it scary, cliff jumping?
Cliff jumping's not too scary because like if you're just straight jumping into water, like you keep your arms folded and then you just jump feet first. But as we learnt in Queenstown, people would send like backflips off stuff, off like cliffs, and that.
Have you heard of co-steering?
Yeah, so we did co-steering as well.
So I've done that. I'm sure to a much smaller level, but even then, it's really exhilarating.
It's good
jumping
fun.
into it.
It's
sort of jumping mini cliffs.
So it's like you're with a tour guide, and they'll go through like all the safe spots to jump in. You'll wear life jackets, wetsuits,
sort of swim through parts.
You'll like go through like waterfalls and you'll jump down cliffs and stuff.
I think jump on like big rocks.
I've done something similar.
I've done a bit of that in Wales.
It's good fun. I did it in Devon. It's unreal.
Yeah.
I'd love to do some more like extreme stuff like skydiving.
So the opportunity, you were inspired to take it from another member at church.
Yeah.
So that's how you got onto that. So you didn't have to go and find it yourself. There wasn't a lot of research done into it before, or did you know exactly what you're going into?
So this is the part of the journey where it's like a leap, like sort of like a leap of faith, in terms of I didn't know. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know like exactly what I was going to do. I knew there'd be teaching there. I knew there would it'd be like a community where you learn. And then my friend went to Papua New Guinea on her outreach, so I knew that we'd be going abroad afterwards. But I very much think that like that was part of God's plan in terms of like opening my eyes completely and like getting me to learn this stuff and like experience it for myself, which was great. Like, I loved it. So
you said YWAM was like global.
Yeah.
How like what whereabouts is it? Like what's the target?
So the target is like it's youth, but in terms of like it's not young people. So like I know people on like the Nelson base or people. So Nelson's a part of New Zealand.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. And who people on who are doing a DTS are like 80.
Oh wow!
Gosh! I thought it was just youth.
No, so our school was really young. Our school was like our oldest person was Alison. Alison is 24.
Oh wow!
Oh, wow.
Really? Yeah.
So we had like 5 18-year-olds, some 19, 20, 21, 24.
Okay. Is it
super young?
Is it really like? Do you only do it if you're already a Christian, or can you, like, do you have to be connected to a church, or can you go on it? Say I was, I am a Christian. Say like Will was an atheist, and he thought, oh, I want to travel and maybe experience what comes with the package. Could he then sign up, or do you have to be like connected to a youth pastor?
No, so anyone could sign up. You don't have to. You don't have to, like, be a Christian, but obviously, like, the whole
It helps a little bit.
in terms of DTS is discipling people to be like Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, so it does help.
Yeah, that would help.
Yeah.
quite a
So
lot.
if you had a faith, I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah.
And what was the other question, Joel? It was.
Do you have to be connected to a church already?
No. Like, it's because YWAM is not part of a church.
Okay.
It's an organisation.
So you don't have to be
So-
like recommended by someone.
So YWAM is non-denominational.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
it's not Catholic, it's not Protestant,
Yeah.
it's nothing. It's just like
Just,
focusing on Jesus and just discipling people. So
Cool.
it's great.
You mentioned it's a school. Is there like, because obviously I've had my ups and downs with school. Are there like many rules to it? Like, can you get into trouble? Is there a curfew? Can you, I don't know, get a detention?
Teachers, homework.
So the rules are, so you mentioned before, like, travelling. So YWAM was founded by a guy called Lon Cunningham, who sadly passed away last October.
Okay.
And part of it was that when he started off YWAM, that some people would get distracted as like travelling, and he really didn't want people like to have their priorities in travelling. They wanted to get people to really like focus on being discipled and learning.
Okay.
And so in terms of like the curfews and like the rules, there aren't too many rules. The one rule is there's no drinking, there's no dating, and there's no bedtime curfews.
So
Oh,
two
sweet.
pretty significant rules though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but honestly,
no bedtime, so that's pretty.
Yeah.
That bumps out that. Yeah.
We'll know what's to go.
But honestly, like, you think now, like, you think that you'd miss like having a beer after after you do like a sports game or play football or like cricket, but I didn't miss it like one bit at all.
Oh, wow.
And like
yeah,
in 6 months, you just like forget about it, and it's like
it's really interesting.
now I'm not drinking alcoholic drinks. I'm like
Oh, so
going,
you're continuing with the lifestyle.
yeah, like
Good.
going like 0% stuff.
Wow.
So it's
Do you think that plays a role into how you live your life? Like, do you think you're living your life better sober? Because a lot of people do say that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like.
Well, it's not like you're a radio.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
I'm not saying you
I
were.
was gonna say, yeah.
No, I wasn't.
With no
It wasn't.
influence of alcohol
Yeah,
in your
it's
weekends.
just like, yeah. I mean, just having a non-alcoholic with a meal is just quite nice because
Yeah,
like,
just, yeah.
Interesting.
Did you go on this trip to sort of affirm your faith? Were you pretty confident in your faith already, or were you sort of discovering it? What was the point for you?
So basically, this trip sort of affirmed my faith because the school works by, so YWAM stands for Know God and Make Him Known. So the first 3 months is to know God. So the first 3 months is teaching.
Okay.
So you have 12 weeks of 12 weeks of lectures. So each week will be a different theme. So it might be like characteristic nature of God, Holy Spirit, Lordship Week, Relationships Week, Worldview, Missions Week, and therefore, like, you have a lecturer come in, and each week you will learn Monday to Friday, and then the next week you change the topic. And on week 8, which was Lordship Week, done by Mark Parker. Shout out Mark Parker, I love the man.
I'm sure he's listening.
Honestly, I hope he is. Someone might have to forward this to him.
Yeah.
Because I love Mark Parker. So I got baptised on his week.
Wow.
Brilliant.
And like, it's really amazing because like before coming here, like I was raised in a Christian family. It's brilliant, but when you're raised in a Christian family, it comes to a point where you have to make your faith your own.
Wow.
And
your own relationship with
yeah,
God.
your own relationship with Jesus.
That's
And
really interesting.
it often, for me, like it was going to church on a Sunday. I would like feel like I ticked a box. I would then leave, and then like I'd
Like
be
a to-do list, yeah.
yeah, and then I'd be like a good person Monday to Friday, and then like my relationship with Jesus would be like sort of minimal on a Sunday. And you'd like feel his presence, and then you'd then like go Monday to Friday and you'd be a good person.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when I came to DTS and came to YWAM, it was like, wow, I can have a relationship with Jesus every day.
Okay.
and it was like amazing because they encourage you to have quiet time, to spend time with the Lord, like invite the Holy Spirit like to come into your life like every day.
Yeah.
And we did evangelism, we worshipped, and it was like just transformational. And like I then got baptized on week 8 by Matthew Driver and Jordan. So Jordan was my one-on-one.
Yeah.
And it was just like so special.
So
And
you,
like yeah.
one-on-one, did you have a sort of tutor?
Yeah, so each person on base, so each person on our school has like a one-on-one mentor who you like talk to once a week, and you go off base. So I went fishing with Jordan.
Oh, nice.
Which was really cool. We went to grab
That's really
coffee
mentoring,
and go grab McDonald's or
Yeah.
grab coffee. We went
Nice.
fishing. I know people have gone like bouldering and climbing and stuff.
Oh,
And
sounds
then
real.
you just talk about how your week's going.
Yeah.
You know, your highs, your lows, how you're feeling connected to the God, and it's a great time just to talk and hang out. So yeah, Jordan and Matt baptized me, which was awesome.
Oh wow.
So that was week 8 out of 12.
When did you leave? Like, when did you leave England to go?
I left England on the 28th of September.
September. Ah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, this episode won't go out today. So, what was the date that you got back as well?
Got back on the 4th of April.
Oh, so yeah.
It was
Oh, wow, quite recently. Then.
So
That
literally less than a month at the time of recording.
yeah. So I've been away for 6 months.
Wow.
Okay, so
So-
Straight 6 months.
6 months.
Can you
Yeah.
just give an overview of the structure of your trip?
So we spent 3 months learning in Queenstown. So Queenstown is in the South Island of New Zealand.
Yeah.
Right under the Remarkables. So we did so our base is outside Jack's Point. So it's like, or like 10k to Queenstown. So no, or like maybe like 20k to Queenstown,
nice.
and then 7k to the nearest town.
Hmm.
So arrived there. Our whole school arrived there. So what's cool about YWAM is because it's international. You get people from all over the world come to your school.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
So we had Brazil, Denmark, Sweden,
Wow.
Americans, Canadians, Netherlands, Sweden, German. It was so much fun.
Was there quite a language barrier, or was it?
No,
all right?
everyone spoke unbelievably good English.
That's
Oh,
really
brilliant.
interesting.
So good.
That's handy,
That's
isn't it?
one perk of being English,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Everyone spoke such good English.
So before
That's
we
really good.
before we get into like the chronological order of everything that happened and
Yeah.
the highlights and stuff, I'd be
Yeah.
really interested to know what were your expectations going into the trip. Like, if you take all your knowledge out of what you've learned through there, what were you
Yeah.
expecting of the trip?
So I was expecting the trip to be like some teaching focus, like extreme sports on the weekends.
Yeah.
But like, I expected to like, I expected that we were like going to be discipled and like there was going to be learning and that it would be like community based. But I think that was like the Lord's plan in terms of getting me to like learn this afresh and like step into this like
Really
having the
new
faith.
Okay.
Yeah, like his plan. Yeah.
And before you tell us all the secrets of what happened on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
was there anything, without revealing what they were, was
Yeah.
there anything that sort of jumped out to you as being a bit of a surprise that you weren't expecting?
How thick my British accent was while I was there.
That's very good.
Like
Okay.
that was so much. That was so funny.
That's a very good answer.
Being called posh like they
Yeah.
while I
Really?
was there. Like
Really?
is this your cup of tea? Like water bottle.
yeah,
like
that's
the classic. Yes,
Yeah.
that was
Tuesday.
That's very
Tu-
fun.
Tuesday. Yeah. So no, that was fun.
Okay, so day one, you leave your home for
Yeah.
the first time properly in
Yeah.
18 years, 17 years.
Yeah.
You get to the airport. What happens on day one?
Is there a minibus waiting for you? Is this where you meet everyone that's going to be on the trip?
So arriving in Queenstown.
Wait, hang on. We've jumped. How did you get there?
Okay, so left my parents in security like before there.
Yeah.
Bags all got checked. Went through, waved goodbye, and then
The classic.
And you were alone at this point.
was alone at this point,
Okay.
and then flew from Gatwick to Dubai,
Okay.
and then changed Dubai for a 17.5-hour long flight.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to hear about.
17 hours.
So I thought it was 15, but instead of flying across Australia, they flew underneath Australia.
Oh, what?
And they just took a huge detour.
Why?
I don't know, but it was then 17.5 hours.
It's a
What were you doing to pass the time for a whole day?
Oh, dude, I watched like Spider-Man. I watched like so many films.
Yeah.
I feel like it's compulsory to watch Spider-Man on flight because every flight that I've been on, I've had to watch a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
I suppose you had to sleep. Yeah. Did you sleep? I suppose, or was it?
I slept
during the
like
day?
4 hours. I was quite blessed. Well, not blessed, but like I got jet lagged in Dubai instead of in New Zealand.
Okay, that's nice.
So,
yeah.
That's a good.
So you're on the better
dodge.
time zone. Better time zone.
Yeah, just I was cooked in Dubai. Like I was so jet lagged.
So I assume you land in Auckland and then have to change to
Yeah.
Queenstown.
Yeah,
And that's another 3-4 hour flight.
2 hours.
2 hours.
But what was funny was because our whole school was arriving
Yeah.
on like the same weekend,
Mm.
there were people on the flight who were going on the same school.
Oh,
Wow.
right.
So
But did you know?
But you didn't know?
Did you know? who they
no,
were?
so no one was on my flight,
Ah.
but there were people on other flights who were like, "Are you doing a DTS?"
Yeah, I bet you could tell by looking at
And
them.
like,
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
some of us had revealed on like a Facebook group that like what we looked like,
Oh.
but some hadn't.
Oh.
So like some people were like trying to have a look if
Yeah.
like this young person was
Yeah,
going
to
to
work
Queenstown
Yeah.
to study.
That's
Yeah,
meet
so-
that description. How are you
Yeah.
feeling mentally at this point on the plane? You've left your family behind. How are you feeling?
I was pretty excited.
Okay.
Just trying to watch films, get past it, get past the
You're not
jet lag.
nervous at all, are you?
Yeah,
You're
it's
just chilling.
chill.
But then like I arrived at Queenstown, was picked up by 3 staff members.
Nice.
One of them is English, one of them lives like above like North London,
Oh.
bit out of London. And then went straight away to Pack and Save to buy some groceries.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And-
you mentioned earlier, didn't you?
And instead of buying like a frozen pizza, I decided to buy ingredients to make carbonara, which was like was not
Wow.
the greatest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Are
like,
you cooking for everyone in mind? Or
That's
is
very
No,
good.
made myself.
Just making a carbonara
Yeah.
for yourself.
That's
right.
very
So I was
very
like,
bold.
looking back, I just bought like ramen and like instant noodles.
Oh.
But I
Is that what it
I-
devolved
I
into?
felt
Yeah, yeah.
creative. I felt motivated.
Yeah.
You had high hopes and high aspirations going into
Was
it.
it,
Yeah.
Did it cost a lot out there, or was it like, just normal?
So the
kind of
exchange rate is like £1 is $2 New Zealand dollars, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Okay.
And it's quite expensive, but then like in like Pack and Save it's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
So like Tim Tams, you know Tim Tams, Charlie?
Yeah, biscuits.
Oh,
yeah,
they're go-to.
yeah, amazing.
They're so good. They're like the greatest biscuit ever.
For reference, Charlie is also half New Zealand.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So no. And then bought some food, and then went back to base to meet some people to like meet everyone. But
Yeah.
like people were arriving on different days.
Okay.
And then for the first weekend, we had to cook food for ourselves, and we were like, "Oh, what should we do on this day?" We had like a free Saturday,
Okay.
so we went into Frankton, like the local town,
Yeah.
and played laser tag as like a team building thing,
Oh.
and lost to a group of 13.
Oh.
So like we just got absolutely took to school. Like we thought we'd be like nimble and sneak around this laser tag course,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
just like took us to
Destroyed
school.
us.
Oh yeah.
They weren't jet lagged. Just use that as the excuse.
Yeah, and then we got a free go-kart ride, which was cool.
Did you go on the Illusion Queenstown?
No, we didn't. No.
No. Oh.
But here's a funny story. The day afterwards, it was
Mm.
Sunday morning. I was like, I want to go for a run. So I decided to run to Frankton and back before the bus to church.
Is that far? Or?
It's 7k there and 7k back.
Oh
So-
wow! Oh wow!
Yeah.
And like I don't run.
Oh.
So I made it there and made it. Do you know New Worlds, Charlie?
No, not at all.
And bought like a chocolate swirl croissant, a chocolate coffee, and a kiwi, and just sat outside the supermarket at 7 o'clock in the morning, just
Oh, mate.
eating this breakfast, and then like decided to trudge back home.
Just imagine the feeling, right? About 4 months ago, you were sat in a classroom doing your A-levels.
Yeah.
And then 4 months later, you're sat in the lovely weather on your own in a kiwi. that is unreal.
That is really cool.
Yeah, and then I then missed the bus to church that
Oh
morning.
no.
So
That's good.
Yeah, missed
that wasn't good.
Yeah.
That was the first. That was
missed
the
the
first.
first session.
Yeah,
That's
but,
not a
but
good
like
start.
Were you the bad boy who missed class?
no, a few people didn't go. Like it wasn't
Compulsory.
compulsory on the first
Oh,
weekend
okay.
because people were jet lagged
So,
arriving.
Yeah, of course.
So but I got back at like I set off for like 6 and got back at like 8:45.
Oh wow!
8:30. So
It's
it
a
took
whole-
like-
it's a
Yeah,
whole-
yeah,
two-
yeah.
took
3
like
hours.
a good morning. It was
Yeah.
dark when I started running. It was
Oh,
Oh, wow.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
so it was good fun. It's good memories.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, that's good.
How quickly did you feel a connection to God? So you got baptized, obviously. So
Yeah.
You felt His presence.
yeah.
How quickly did that come? Was it sort of immediate effect as you got there, or did it really take a while to sort of sink in? Were you thinking, when's it going to happen?
Oh, so like basically, I found the first couple of weeks a little difficult because so DTS is a discipleship training school.
Yeah.
And alongside it, the Queenstown run like once a year, run a DBS, so a discipleship Bible school.
Right.
So they go from the first book of the Bible, Genesis, to Revelation is the last book in 3 months.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, so
It's the whole Bible.
whole Bible
In
Go
3
through
months.
the
in
whole
3
Bible.
months.
I don't know if I haven't read the Bible by myself.
Yeah.
Funny enough. Is that like short, long, or just normal?
That's quite long.
Is that-
Like
okay.
I'm doing a Bible in a year, so
Oh wow, yeah,
so
okay,
it's
yeah.
3 months.
It's quite a big
pretty
book.
rammed,
It's
yeah.
a big book. It's like 56.
It's like a whole
You should
library.
break it up a little
56
bit.
books, yeah.
I know they do, don't they?
And,
56 times.
Yeah.
And then once a week we'd have like a Bible study where we do our own mini, like going from Genesis to Revelations. And like the Old Testament I found like quite complex at the start.
Okay.
So it was very much like, because I was learning some stuff like as an adult for like properly like because my eyes were open during DTS of like God's word, and like I was like learning some of this stuff like afresh. And like it was quite complex the first couple of weeks, but then like I grew into like the teachings and stuff. But I mean, when you like get into God's presence like every morning, so we had wake and pray at 6:30 every day.
So you'd get woken up
In the morning.
Oh yeah. So Jacob,
Ah.
so a Swedish guy called Jacob in our school was like our alarm clock for our room. He would wake
Swedish.
up. He was amazing. I love
Yeah.
him. He would wake us up at 6:30, and like we'd all set alarms, and we'd trundle downstairs. We'd hit like big blankets on, we're half asleep, and then we'd all wake up, and then we'd do wake and pray, which was great. It's fantastic.
How long would that last? Like,
That would last 15 minutes, but by the time we're down there, we'd finish at 7 o'clock.
Gosh, it is such a different lifestyle, isn't it?
It's such a different
It
life.
does sound like something you've got to
Oh, it was
experience.
brilliant. And then we do that, and then after that we'd do our own quiet times, where we'd read God's word, and we'd just get stuck into it, and we'd like pray, put on worship music, like each by ourselves. So we'd like different people would go to different areas of the base and like sit down.
I don't
Yeah.
want to put my hand up, but
No,
well,
so-
like how big was like the school? Is it like a uni kind of style?
So-
Hogwarts.
Or is it like
so
a-
we had 16 people in our school.
Oh wow, okay, so it's not
Size
so-
of the building, was it quite big?
The building is like it's a bit like the church centre.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit like a long house.
Okay, so
It-
yeah,
it-
it's a
it'll-
big
It'll house 40 people.
Oh, okay.
So-
yeah.
Unreal.
So then we all slept in dorms. So we had bunk beds.
Okay,
Yeah.
how many
Um,
people in a room?
So we had on our school there was 12 guys and 4 girls.
Right.
So
Oh.
normally in YWAM it's the opposite. So normally,
really?
it's like more like it's more like feminine per school. than,
No.
like, on the balance. But like, oh my word, it was so good. Like having 12 guys, it was so much fun. So in our dorm we had like there was in our room, I think there was like 6 of us,
Right.
Mm.
and like we had a lot of fun. We like made our toilet a barber shop, and it was so much fun. I was but if the boys are listening to this, they'll take the mick out of me for this. But I was called like the YWAM barber, so I used to cut people's hair. So
Let him cook now.
Yeah.
So
Let him cook.
The reason was because like 7 of us got buzz cuts.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So
That's pretty easy trim, I suppose.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, but then you get a helmet afterwards.
Right.
So then you
right.
have-
when it grows out again.
Yeah, it grows out.
Oh,
yeah.
you get.
Not now.
Yeah,
right.
Charlie, you got a lovely buzz cut.
Thank you, thank you.
Was this your first buzz cut you got there?
No, I got one in year 12.
Oh, fair.
Okay.
So but like we'd all spend times in the morning like in God's presence. So it was awesome, and like that was the first for me. Like in DTS, like I read my first book of the Bible from start to finish,
Yeah.
and like beforehand, like I read it in
Big
church
read.
and youth group. But like when you set aside time with God, like things happen, and like God moves, and it's like amazing. So like
Wow.
yeah, like it's beautiful. Like the routine there was so good. So yeah.
Was there a moment it clicked for you, or had that already happened before you left for the trip?
Oh, I mean, getting baptized was like
Yeah.
The moment.
yeah, it was really incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously we've touched on sort of the first month of the 6 there really nicely. I was following very intently along your Instagram throughout the journey, and some moments that did stick out, as you say, were the buzz cut, and a couple of others which just made me laugh. A guy, one of your mates, walking into breakfast with a chicken in his hand.
Yeah, that was a friend of mine. Yeah, so that chicken was called Kerr, and if anyone's watching, you know, Kerr's a legend.
Okay.
And so on base we have like 12 chickens, and we named one of them. And the joke was that he had like an ankle monitor on. and
Criminal.
But what it was a
House arrest.
like a cable tie
Oh,
around
right.
his
Okay.
ankle.
So you knew which one was cut.
Yeah, and he had like a bald patch on his head.
Right.
So he was like
Top
the
geezer.
so he's on my hoodie, the chicken.
Oh, down here.
Yeah, that's good.
Explain the hoodie.
So the hoodie was made by Noah. Noah's from Sweden.
Okay.
Noah Rogers, and like each school will like design a hoodie. So so while I don't have quarterly schools, so they have a January, an April normally, a July, which was the ski and snowboard. The January was the rise and worship,
Yeah.
and ours was the extreme. So you'll learn Monday to Friday, but then your weekends is where your school name is from, like the extreme. So we did the extreme stuff on the weekend.
Yeah.
The July we'll do the ski and snowboard on the weekend.
Nice.
So
That's pretty
It's very good quality material, I
Yeah.
must say.
yeah,
It's a really nice jumper.
So Noah made it and he designed it. So the school before us had like Jesus on the back and it said Jesus frees us
Oh, right.
in like sunglasses on like a snowboard. Or
Do you say
something.
freeze us or
Yeah.
freezers?
freezers like
like
both?
Oh, freezers.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good. I like that.
So it was no. So Jacob made this and we all bought it. So
Oh,
it's
brilliant.
good.
that's really
So
cool.
I assume you're still relatively in contact with everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is where I mentioned earlier. The name of us, it's like, you know how you have the name of the group chat, which is like so
Yeah,
iconic, you
legendary.
can't change it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So ours is called Hobnobs.
Right.
Okay. And the reason was because when I first came to the base, I was like a posh British lad.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
right.
Okay. And we were like, so you know, like the staple of like a church, like tea and coffee afterwards, like hobnobs, or like hobnobs. And they were just so then they started they just started taking the mick out of me, which was fine. And then whenever we played volleyball, whatever team I was on was like called Team Hobnobs.
Right.
And
But I'm
then-
getting main character vibes from you.
Yeah.
so then like the group chat was called Hobnobs from like week 2 or 3, and then it's always
Stuck.
like that.
Yeah. That's
But
cool.
but like speaking of volleyball, like we played volleyball. So there's a volleyball net in the garden, and like
Okay.
we would play quite a lot, so that was good fun.
What did you actually do that was extreme?
Every weekend, what was going on?
So it's called the track activities. So we did bungee jumping, we did skydiving, we then did bungee jumping, skydiving, canyoning, we did paintballing, lots of hiking, or we did Zorb football.
Oh.
Yeah, where you have the big protective walls.
Yeah.
And you like,
Oh, that
and
thing,
you
yeah.
run and you like get.
Yeah.
When you jump before contact, you then just go soaring. So we did that.
Talk to us about skydiving.
Skydiving. Oh, all right. So we got split out in
Loved
two
it.
groups. 2 planes. Yeah, pretty much. And it's tandem. So the guys behind you are strapped to him.
Oh,
Okay.
That's
So-
yeah.
so
I'd be
it-
terrified
It's
of
a
that
bit
by
more safe
myself,
because like
yeah.
chucking yourself out of the plane is quite scary.
Yeah.
So someone doing it for you, it's a bit more nice.
It's on them.
It's on them.
Yeah. You did this to
You
me.
can just sit back and relax.
So
Enjoy
basically, we all got strapped in, and we're in the plane. There's like, so you're in pairs. There's 5 pairs on the left, 5 pairs on the right, pretty much.
Yeah.
And the instructor next to me, who wasn't like my tandem, who was someone who was like my friend's tandem,
Okay.
points over to me and says, "Mate, your harness,
Oh no.
it's not done up properly."
No.
And I'm like, "Oh my word!" We're like 5 minutes to jump.
You see this
and
stuff on
I'm like,
TikTok, yeah.
and I'm like bricking myself. I'm like, "Oh my word!"
Yeah, tightening
Um,
everything as much as he
and,
can.
and he was like, "Dude, hold on tight."
No,
I'm
no.
So it was like, it was so scary. And he was like, "Dude, just it's chill. You're all good. I'm just joking."
Yeah.
Oh, he's joking.
Yeah, he's joking. And then
It's a light thing to throw around.
oh yeah, and then my instructor before we jumped said, "Hey Ned, do you want to do a backflip at the plane?"
Oh.
So and like,
Had
I
you
was
ever
like-
done a backflip before?
Oh no, I've done a backflip, but not have a plane before. So we then did a backflip at the plane, and that
That's
was
so
like,
cool.
oh my word. Because once you realise that you're skydiving, it's like the best feeling ever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you feel like the falling? You know when you fall, do you still feel that same feeling
It's like
the whole
falling,
time?
but like unlimited.
Oh,
It's
right.
just like it's
Yeah.
so cool. And because you realise you got a parachute on, you're safe completely.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like it's like fun. So I screamed the whole way in joy.
Yeah.
I was like, because when you shout, you can't hear yourself.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
So you're like, you know when you shout on the water and you can
Yeah.
sort of,
Yeah.
you can sort. It's like that.
Yeah.
But it was really good fun. And then the guy let me control the parachute going down.
That's fun.
So I got to fly it down.
You got to fly.
That's really
Yeah, so it was like
Yeah.
pull the left and then you like dive down left. It was like,
Wow.
it was cool. It was really cool.
That would be it. Yeah, you go.
Sorry, how long did it last from
Yeah.
jumping out of the plane to
So-
getting to the ground?
So free fall was like 45 seconds.
It's still a long time
Yeah.
for fall.
Yeah. Oh, it feels like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then going down from the parachute being pulled might take like 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
So it's really short.
It's
the
quite
whole
quick,
thing.
but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
because of the adrenaline's going, it feels like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it feels like so long.
Man.
Wow.
Yeah.
I keep thinking like this. That is another example of those moments where you're in the moment and you think, or
Yeah.
at least maybe afterwards you think, a few months ago I was sat in a classroom and now
Yeah.
I'm in the other side of the world flying through
Yeah.
space and time. Like
Yeah.
mental.
And like we fell through a cloud. So
Wow.
like so we
Did you get
jumped
really
we-
wet?
Yeah, you must
So-
get soaked.
So
Yeah.
I mean luckily it was a dry cloud.
Wait, is
That's
that
a
how
thing?
you get dry cloud? Hang on.
No,
what
because-
planet are we on?
Because like you know how like obviously when it's blue sky you have the occasional
Yeah.
like
Fluffy.
fluffy
Right,
cloud.
fluffy
Yeah,
cloud.
white fluffy cloud, it's like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then we fell through it and then it came once you come out of the cloud like you see everything.
Oh, so is it like white and then?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so,
cool.
so you can't see much, then you come out and it's like you
Yeah.
can see everything.
It's like, it's like the
When
start
you-
of The Simpsons. You know when it opens up and you see
That's
it.
a very specific reference.
So when you first jumped, you couldn't see the ground.
Yeah. So when we jumped, like we couldn't really see the ground, and then obviously you fall through the cloud, and then it's like you can
Yeah.
see the whole remarkable. So it's just like
It must have been terrifying.
Yeah.
Like you're falling through the cloud.
I know.
Yeah.
Imagine it just comes like way close. You've jumped too like low.
yeah.
God, no, sorry.
But then the ground is quite far away. 'Cause
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
like,
Oh, of course.
Could you imagine if it wasn't?
compared to bungee jumping,
Yeah.
bungee jumping is like you could see the ground. Yeah, bungee jumping.
Did you do that?
Let's
also
keep going
on-
through these extreme sports.
Did you do that on Y1 or did you do that
Yeah.
separately?
No. So it's all with wiring.
Yeah.
Oh, how was the bungee jumping?
Bungee jumping was scary
Yeah.
Scary than
But-
skydiving.
because bungee jumping they count you down and you got to jump.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're the boss.
I mean,
you make
pull the
You're in
trigger.
control of it.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
like you've got to jump.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So like they go 3, 2, 1, and then you just got to jump,
Yeah.
and that's 8 seconds of free fall, but you're like going to the ground.
Yeah,
So it's scary.
Did you do it over water or did you do it over like ground?
No, can you like ground?
I
But-
well, I don't know.
Oh,
I
had
hate
like-
that so much.
had
I love
like-
water.
It had like a river down below, but
That's not saving you from anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
either way,
no.
you dive the rope.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was 8 seconds of free fall, and then when you bounce up, so it was 143 meters,
Wow.
and you bounce up 100 meters, so you
Oh
fall
my-
again,
You-
again.
You go up 100 meters.
Yeah.
Oh my.
You bounce.
You go up. So like
Feeling in your
after,
sick.
stomach. was
Yeah.
just so weird.
so after one,
Mm.
you're like, okay, the bungee actually works.
Yeah.
Yeah. You then go up,
Yeah.
and then you go back down. But the thing is, what I was thinking beforehand is like people are like, oh yeah, my head always hurts when I go bungee jumping.
Hmm.
But it was super smart. You pull a pin by your feet, and you go from being head first to then like sitting in the harness, like resting upright.
Oh,
So-
for
so-
like the little bouncers.
Yeah. So you're not actually like dangling head first the whole time.
Okay.
That's- yeah.
So it's like it's super safe.
Yeah.
So
So this was happening every weekend. Were there did you repeat certain extreme sports then? Because you were there for 6 months.
no, I mean, so we were only there for 3 months.
Oh, right, okay.
And so we only did these once, and then some weekends we had off. So a guy called James bought a car while he was there
Okay.
because he could like in 3 months resell it at like the same price.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
And then we paid for fuel,
Mm.
Yeah.
so it was worth it. And plus he fixed some stuff in the car,
Nice.
so it was worth more.
Oh, lovely.
So we then like did road trips on the weekend.
Oh, wow.
And
Oh,
like
wow.
he went off roading, and there was some really cool stories from that.
What cars did you get there? For
It
off-road?
was a Honda Civic.
a Honda Civic.
Yeah, so it was like it was a cool car. like.
yeah.
So and then some boys bought gym memberships.
Oh, yeah.
Went to the gym like 4 times a week.
Oh, come
Sort
on.
of thing.
Good for games.
So a lot of
And-
driving in and out of was it Frampton's?
Frankton.
Frampton.
But then every time they went to the gym, they had like instant ramen afterwards.
Oh.
So they reckon they went through like 100 instant ramen.
They got the best flavour.
Oh dear, it was just.
There's another pretty cool, interesting story that you told me that you did on one particular weekend on your day off, which I'd really love to hear again. You mentioned hunting.
Yeah.
Tell the audience that story.
Yeah, so in New Zealand, hunting is pretty big culture. Like you can have a gun in New Zealand under like gun license. I'm pretty sure. I don't know much about it, but it's legal there because people go and hunt for venison. So venison is deer.
Mm.
We don't have that in the UK.
Is it smaller deer or is it?
Like stags,
Oh, it's
like
okay.
horns.
Okay.
So how that came about was part of the role on base is that everyone there is volunteers, and we have to steward the base because God has gifted the base to the base leaders and to everyone to have schools and disciple people and like literally change people's lives. So they want to look after the base and they want to maintain it because like if it's not, it'll be treated poorly and it'll have to close. So everyone in our school was assigned a work duty. So the work duties are outside maintenance. I was on that, so cutting the grass, gutters, roofs, digging trenches, fixing stuff. I was on that. There was kitchen duty, then kitchen cleanup, and there was hospitality. And a quick story about the kitchen cleanup, the kitchen crew, the cooking crew. 4 boys volunteered for that. 3 of them worked in restaurants in the States and in Canada. So they were loving it. I
bet you were loving it as well.
Oh yeah, the food was great, and like they were on time, and it was like we were super blessed to have them. They were like they loved it.
Yeah.
So we had like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and the boys just ran the show there.
You got to do a Thanksgiving?
Yeah, we did.
So what was that like?
So we had chicken there, and we had like stuffing and all the Thanksgiving there. Because we had 5 Americans on our school, and and around base there were more, so they were like, we want to bring some of our home here.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So that was really cool.
Did you get to see new traditions that, like, I don't know if any other cultures, like, if other people that were there.
I mean, we had a Swedish youth like night where we did like Swedish games.
Okay,
we had Thanksgiving, we had Christmas, we did like Netherlands night. So we did like where people will cook stuff from the culture. We had Brazilian like barbecue stew. So that was nice. So like because on our school we had so many different people from so many different cultures. Like everyone brings a flavour and it's so good.
Yeah.
Like
that's unreal.
Yeah. So
like
bring
fish and chips.
Yeah, fish and chips, scones, tea. But like you saying that, like when I first arrived there, somebody asked me, "Is this your teapot? Did you bring it here?" And I just arrived there, so that was really funny. So, but no, like British culture.
So can we hear your thoughts on what hunting was like then?
So the reason why we did that was because the outside maintenance crew and the boys that were doing it, we helped out the farmer next door.
Oh yeah. And
so we helped him because he wanted to plant like seeds in his field, but there were rocks everywhere, so it would break the tilling. It'd break the machine. So we helped pick up the rocks and put it into the bucket in the digger, and we did that for like 3 days worth of work. Well, no, like 3 hour-and-a-halves. And then he was like, "Oh, boys, one day I'll take you hunting." So we called up our base leader and said, "Are the boys ready for tomorrow if I come round and we go hunting?" So he came round at like 7 o'clock on a Saturday, and like 6 a.m. Yeah. And he was like, "Okay, we're gonna drive along the Remarkables, use binoculars, scout the deer, and then go after it." And then so we went after one after scouting, but it was just too high. If we tagged it, we couldn't get it.
So how far away were these like deers from?
Oh, this one was like a kilometre away.
And
you've got
full sort of hunting rifles.
Yeah. So
who's the designated sniper?
Me.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's so cool.
So the boys were like, "Ned, you're from England. You guys have no guns. We want you to experience this and to like shoot this deer." So we then couldn't get this deer, so we found another one, but it was like around the corner, so we couldn't really get it. But we found one, but it was just too far away to shoot it. So then we walked towards it, but by that time it was getting to like 12 o'clock and it was getting really hot.
Yeah.
So therefore, if it's hot, it'll go into shade and go under the tree. So then we tried to blow the whistle for it to come out and pop its head or like go into like a clearing.
Hello.
And then that didn't work. So then Hayden, who is from North Carolina, hunts in America. They have like seasons of like different animals, and he said, we can get in a line and we can try and herd it into a gap.
Right.
And we tried that, and the deer instead of running into the space, just turn around and ran the other direction.
It was a smart. You'd done it revision.
So then we then tried to do a foot chase, and then we just lost it.
What would you have done if you'd like got it, like killed it? Would you have dragged it all the way back home?
No, I mean, so they had a knife there, so they would have filleted it there, because it's quite heavy.
Do you think you'd have felt like sad if you'd killed it?
I mean, it's going towards like the base, and then we'd go to the farmer. So
I mean, we eat meat anyway. I guess.
we do.
Yeah.
It's just being the killer rather than the eater. But yeah, it's pretty.
But no, it was a really, really great experience, and also it was just like a great hike. So
Awesome.
we just
Nice
hiked,
day out.
and then came back, and my friend got engaged. So it was
Whoa.
awesome.
Wait, what?
So I thought there was no dating.
Yeah, I thought-
No. So the backstory behind that is they were on the DBS, so they were on the Bible school, and they had just graduated on the Friday, and we were hunting on Saturday morning,
Yeah.
and they went for a sunrise hike
Yeah.
with some friends, and my friend Ben proposed
What'd she
wow.
say?
in the morning. She said yes.
Yeah.
So it's great. It was fantastic. So I came back, and like it was like the first like friend like age group that had like got married. As like when I was getting older.
Yeah.
Like now my friend is getting married. And it's
Friend
like,
who's your age group.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Some real.
So that was really
Oh, wait, how old
that
is
was
he?
really special. He was like I think he's maybe 21.
Yeah.
Wow,
So-
that's amazing.
Wow.
So, do you know when he's gonna? Is it gonna be quite soon?
Maybe this summer. I'm not quite sure.
That's exciting.
But
Gosh.
no, that was really cool day actually.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So that's your 3 months in Queenstown.
Yeah.
What next?
So we then part of that we then got picked on outreach teams. So one team, so we went to Fiji. The other team went to another location, and we then prepped for that and then left on the 27th of December to Fiji.
Yeah.
My sister's birthday.
Nice.
What would you say, quickly before we move on to part 2, what would you say is your number one moment when you look back on it that's sort of from your Christian side, and your number one moment from a non-Christian perspective? Of like 2 moments, one with your faith and one just living your travel life. What are the 2 moments of the first 3 months?
I mean, they sort of go like, first one would probably be like getting baptized.
Yeah, so that's a faith.
And the worship nights. The worship nights in Queenstown are unbelievable. Like, they're just like so spirit filled, so electric. Like,
Was it in the town? Would you say?
no.
Was it
So
in the
in the base in our classroom,
Yeah.
all the staff will come.
school?
Everyone
Nice.
on base will come and just have a worship night,
Yeah.
and it's like just solely worship. It's so good.
Singing and stuff.
Yeah, singing, worshiping, praising the Lord. You know.
Was there a band or was it just musical?
So people there, their own musical talents. So
Huh.
like how Pete plays the drums at church.
Oh yeah.
So like people will play guitar, sing, piano.
Nice.
So it was that was amazing.
Real.
And then other moment, but like still like from YWAM and like Christian, but like just the community there. It's just like at YWAM and Queenstown, which is so good. Like I made so many great friends there,
Oh, that's a good answer.
and like every day was just brilliant. Like just like when I like picture someone on my school or staffing, like
Yeah.
I just have like the best memories and like
Oh.
and the fondest thoughts of everyone. So no, I think.
So was it all highs then? Was it all high? Or were there any points where you missed home, or was it all pretty fast paced happiness?
Of course, like there are lows, but I mean, I had God with me, and like when you have those lows, you then have to, you know, A, get into the Word, and B, like get around people who want to support you, and
Brilliant.
yeah, like it was just like looking back now after having a month back,
Yeah.
just like how God can bring together a group of 16 people into one place that just all become like best friends.
Yeah.
And
You speak with such passion, like it must have had a brilliant effect on you.
Yeah, it was just like I love everyone so much. So
Aw.
yeah, no,
I hope you can have that reunion with as many of them as you can.
yeah. So there's like a joke, or like I hope it's not a joke, but like there's going to be a reunion in 2029 on like a cruise in the middle of like the Atlantic. Because like that's
That would
like,
be
5
impressive.
years time, right?
5 years
Yeah.
time was like what a guy in our school was like, guys, we've got to get a reunion. What's the date? What's the month? What's the year? And then we said
That's
like
good.
in like I think it's like somewhere in July in 2029 we're gonna get on a cruise.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
So,
That's it.
what did you do in Fiji?
in Fiji, so as we spoke on, like YWAM is know God and make God known. So for 3 months we were learning about God,
Yeah.
like, growing our relationship, growing in faith. Like people experienced like freedom from things and like just breakthrough and greater connection with God. Like we had 7 people got reconfirmed, 3 people got baptized. Like people were just like on fire for the Lord. It was fantastic. We did evangelism on Tuesdays, like going into town praying for people. We then did worship on Thursdays. So that was like knowing God, everyone just growing their relationship, just fantastic.
Yeah, I suppose you could start as a non-Christian, and then learn.
I assume a lot of people had already been baptised as well when they came on. So
Had you been?
I was christened as a child, but not as like a teenager adult. Yeah. So like baptism was like a public declaration of faith.
Yeah.
So, and then the second half of YWAM is make God known. So, therefore Fiji was like missions outreach. So it was split 5 weeks in Fiji, 5 weeks in New Zealand. So we then in Fiji went around the villages. First village was Tukreti. I really hope this person's listening. So Tuepi.
I'm sure they are.
We'll have to get it to
Okay, honestly, because
you need to share this
because he follows me. So Tuepi, Watson, Lorima, Atu. I hope you're listening. So from Fiji.
Yeah.
Cool names.
Clarissy. They're from one family in Indraketi, and I love them so much. So we were in Indraketi, and we would just do house visits. We'd pray for people. We would do church services. We would do garden work. We would just do all sorts of ministry.
So would you run the church services, or would you just?
We would do. Well, we wouldn't run them because the vicar would speak, or they'd get other people to come and do dances. We learnt Fijian dances while we were there, but we would just contribute to the service.
Yeah,
brilliant.
So I'm misinterpreting. So for me, I thought Christian mission was when you go and you introduce the faith. Is that different to what you're doing? Because it sounds like there's already a church functioning out there.
So Fiji's 90% Christian.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
I didn't know that.
90% Christian. But the thing is, it's how many people are it's a bit England being a Christian country.
Yeah.
How many people in England are practicing Christian? How many people are following their faith Monday to Sunday, not doing worldly things? How many people are living to be disciples and following Jesus? Okay, and that's England, and that's the same thing with most Christian countries around the world. So we're just there just to just share the gospel with people again, and just
so it is
incredible.
You are the messengers. You are sharing stuff to people that might not have received it.
I mean, all stuff they have received, and just encouraging them, building them up, and we would share testimonies. So part of the outreach thing was we had to share 2 testimonies,
right?
And we had to preach twice.
So what is a testimony?
So a testimony is it's praising God on what He's done in your life, or so for example one testimony was one that I just it's so amazing. We were in Fiji hospitality. This Fiji culture is really hospitable. It's really relational. If you knock on someone's home, they'll invite you in for juice, for bread, biscuits. They're
complete strangers. Yes.
Oh yeah, they're so nice. And we were in a Hindu village, and we were walking around, and we got asked to go to this one home because this lady needed to walk to the market to sell food, but she couldn't because her ankle was all swollen. It was in pain. She couldn't really walk at all, and her lips were all chapped. And we then went in and we prayed for her, and we prayed and we commanded in Jesus' name that she'd be healed. And then we asked, how's your ankle feeling? And we said, and she said, the pain's halfway gone. It's still there, but it's sort of gone. And then we prayed again, and then we said, oh yeah, so how's your ankle? And she says there's no pain at all.
Wow.
And we then debriefed later that day as a team, because we'd gone into different teams around this Hindu village. Yeah. And we came together, and we found out that 20 minutes before that we got there, so there was my team of 4, or I wasn't the contact was in charge. We were just going around with them.
Yeah, nice.
And we found out that 20 minutes before, a different team, same from our outreach team, had gone into that house and had casted out a demon out of that woman 20 minutes beforehand.
Oh, what?
Demon? A demon?
Yeah.
She was possessed.
How do you know if you've cast out a demon?
Cast out a demon.
Oh, wait, yeah, they cast out a demon. Yeah.
Wait, sorry. As in they took a demon from her, or they put a demon on her?
No, it's from his team.
Okay.
Sorry. Out a demon.
Out of her.
So they were in the presence of a demon deliverance.
So back to what I said. How do you know if it's come out or not? Or what do you see?
So when they were praying, people on our team, they were getting a sense from the Holy Spirit, or like we're hearing from God that it was praying over spiritual warfare. So spiritual warfare is like attacks from the enemy, okay? And then when they were praying for her, so there were 4 people there. One guy, Aroni, was praying in Fijian. Girl Annie was praying in Danish, and someone else in tongues, someone else in German. And as they were praying, this lady then starts, hitting her head on the floor, shaking, and like it's like an avid demon deliverance.
It's not like a conjuring, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then afterwards, then it just stops. And then when we came, she was like proclaiming Jesus as we were leaving.
And then you heard her.
And then
Hitting her head against the wall is crazy.
No, on the floor.
It's still
Yeah,
crazy.
No, I know. But then like that's the power that Jesus has. And the next day, because of our schedule, because of the schedule that we have, we might not see a person again because we're moving around.
Yeah, got you.
We were doing work in a hospital, like raking outside, and this woman needed to walk to the market to sell food. All right, and we then look up and we see her walking past the hospital to the market.
Bearing in mind this woman's ankle was buttoned up the day before.
Yeah, she couldn't really walk, so like we saw her the next day walking.
Wow.
Gosh.
So
incredible.
That's pretty cool.
So
that was
I'm sure there are atheist listeners listening to this.
Yeah.
How do you process something like that, maybe being in the presence of it happening, where this woman goes from being completely like in pain to saying it's completely gone, and then later that day or later that week walking about, and obviously then the demon stuff. How do you process that, and how do you understand what's going on there when that sort of happens and you're there for it? Because I don't know if that happens much in England, but either way, how do you process that in the presence of it?
Was this a miracle?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus. The name of Jesus has the power to do, like anything. If you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can move a mountain, and like you just have to have faith that Jesus will move, and He will. And like we saw people healed in that village who've had back problems for 20 years.
Gosh.
And we see like a friend of mine, like just hearing from God, and then like doing something, and then like people were healed, and like it was like just incredible seeing the power of Jesus like
Amazing.
Working, and we just saw like healing after healing. It was incredible, and it was just like whoever we prayed for, like we prayed for the because we'd often go into like different settlements and do yard work there, and then do a church service in the evening. We prayed for the wife of the chief there for her knees, and her knees were healed.
Gosh.
And then like it was incredible. Like God was like moving so much. It was amazing.
That's mad. Do you think if there was hypothetically this atheist listener standing with you, do you think it'd be quite overwhelming to process, to see that happen in the flesh?
I mean, I know someone who was an atheist, was working for his company, and had a heart attack, and was medically dead for 15 minutes.
Oh my
god! And my friend prayed for him. And my friend prayed for him, and the guy was raised to life back again because of Jesus.
Wow!
And like the guy, it's a story, but the guy like saw the door to like God and like Jesus, and the guy was an atheist. Wow. And like still didn't believe afterwards.
What? And he saw he claimed that he's seen that, and he's still
because
not.
people have to like. I don't know. It's a difficult thing because like we all have to experience Jesus, and I don't know all the answers.
No, that's fine.
But like, I think just people have to experience Him, and it sometimes can be overwhelming. Yeah. But it's just Jesus loves everyone, and He loves you. He loves everyone, and He wants a relationship with everyone.
When do you think was the first time you truly experienced Jesus?
He's been working throughout my whole life. It's just whether you can like, it's me looking back and seeing like, oh yeah, Jesus was there, and Jesus was there, and He's there. He's always with us. He's just like, it's when you think that like instead of luck, it's like, oh wow, I'm blessed.
Yeah, and you have to notice it, as you say.
Yeah, it's like, wow, like that thing happened. Like I'm so blessed, and that's because of Jesus. So, yeah. But then we spent time in that village, and there was a family there. So the people that I mentioned from Fiji,
Oh,
to
yeah.
MP.
Shout out.
Oh yeah, I love them. So my friend Stephen is an Italian chef, 4.5 star Italian.
Wow.
If he's listening, he always mentioned that.
Out of 5, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
20.
And his family found out that he was a Italian chef, and they were like, "Oh, can you come over and cook us some food, please?" So then me and 3 other guys came over, including Stephen, Hayden, and Oscar.
Yeah.
And we then came over and we cooked food. Well, Stephen cooked pasta for this family for the first time ever. They'd never had pasta.
They've never had pasta.
No.
Wow.
And with Stephen then cooked pasta for them, and that was just incredible. And then we prayed for their dad, and we believed that we saw a healing there, and prayed for his brother as well. And like just the hospitality that people show in Fiji, like they're just like family, and it's like incredible.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like a completely different culture. Earlier you mentioned like chief, so there's some sort of like chiefs and systems like that.
Yeah.
And there will be a language barrier as well, surely.
They all speak pretty good English. Like
Yeah.
I'm texting to Epi recently, and
Oh, really?
it's all in English. Yeah.
Wow.
He's so good. Yeah.
Brilliant.
And then we moved on to Dogatuki, which was our second village, which was our contact's home village. And the main thing we did there was we did OMT, so oral mother tongue,
Okay.
which is translating the Bible into their mother tongue. So basically, from different villages, the Fijian language might vary.
Yeah.
Is it a bit like accent, or is it like complete language?
No, because like a different accent, you can still speak the same language.
Yeah,
different
so it is a
words.
completely different
Yeah,
language.
so in this case, we were translating the book of Ephesians into their mother tongue.
Oh wow.
So like, imagine you can read the Bible in your own language instead of like English or like Fijian. You can read it in your own language, which is like super special.
Yeah.
And a guy called Allison on our team has been called to OMT in the Pacific, and I love Allison. I'm still messaging him now, and he did that with our 2 outreach leaders and the people in the village, and like that's just super special because like not being able to read something in your own language that is so special, that is the word of God. It's just just like
Did you have to do any like reading in the mother tongue or not?
no, so that was just a translation which they did, but no, I didn't do much of that. Because we did other ministry while we were there.
Yeah. That would be pretty hard to learn a whole language.
Yeah,
in
but
3 months, 6 months.
but that's why they did it with the locals, so the locals would help them do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Alison would help run the technology behind it.
Oh, okay.
And help it. So that was really special.
I don't know if I missed this, but where were you sleeping at this point? Because obviously the first 3 months were in your buildings, but where were you for the second 3 months?
So we learnt to love in Fiji on mozzie domes. So they're like 1-person tents. So if you imagine like a you know like those inflatable air mats you have.
Oh
Yeah, which you like. They're not the big chunky ones. They're like the roll mats.
Yeah, the roll mats. Yeah.
It's like a roll mat, but then you have like a dome over you, and it's like tent pegs hold it up.
Was this just in some fields?
No, so we're really blessed by being able to stay in people's houses and like people's porches. So we would all the guys would all sit up in a line, like tent, and then we'd all just sleep there. And it's so hot there, so you just sleep in shorts and t-shirts.
Would you move every day, or would it be like you'd go back to the house for that time?
No. So we'd stay in one location for like a week
for a village.
And then we'd then move to the next one.
Did you get any time off?
We had a couple of days off. We got on like a boat to the beach, which was nice.
Yeah.
We then had a day off. I went fishing with Tuepi and his family, which was awesome.
Shout out to Epi.
Oh, I love him. And then. So that was amazing. We had to catch our own bait. So we went down to the river bottom, scooped up mud, and then put it in a fishing net, sifted out, and there were like shrimp in it. So we then put the shrimp on a hook and then fish from that.
Wow,
that's so cool.
So we'd then do that, and then so those were our days off, and then in between then we'd go between churches, like standing up in the back of a pickup truck. Like, you know, like the bed of a pickup truck.
Yeah.
We would stand up in that, holding the rail.
And
we'd like ride between churches.
Yeah. That's really cool.
And like it's so hot that like the wind is just like really cooling.
The vibe I'm getting from this, and I find this really cool, right?
Yeah.
And obviously I'm painting this in a positive light, is the first 3 months were as if it was like a training camp. Like you know how like when they used to go to like war back in the day, they'd have a few months where they'd be like, you know, getting fit and healthy and learning all the skills and stuff. Take that, but Christian, and then you get drafted to then, you know,
drafted to Fiji.
You get drafted to Fiji to then spread the word and do good.
Yeah.
It's quite cool because then you're putting the skills that you've learned into doing God's work.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it like the military. Like we all chose to be
Obviously,
there.
that's a metaphor.
Yeah, we all chose to be there, and like, it's not a military because like,
Well, yeah. No.
I mean, like
You have to fight the demons.
the what?
And that lady.
Shout out.
I mean, the YWAM based in Queenstown, like they're so welcoming. They look after us so well, and like, I mean, although there were like, I mean, the only thing that was like tough for a day or two was like missing home, but like, it wasn't like. I look back and it's the funnest time of my life, and it wasn't like a military camp. It wasn't tough.
All right,
it wasn't anything.
I meant as in like the training and then the putting the actions into.
Yeah, but the training and like learning was like changing my life. So it was like, oh my word, I'd do it again.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But,
So cool.
I was about to ask, would you go on another mission to somewhere else? Is this something you feel called to?
Oh, I'd love to one day. Yeah, maybe after uni or.
Do you think you'd go back to the same place, or do you think you'd go somewhere different?
I think I'd love to go back to Queenstown.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we then finished in Dogatuki, and probably one of the highlights there was we had a 5-hour long church service, which was so good.
It was good.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was so good.
You ever done anything like that before?
I mean, I've had like some long services before, but like this was like super spirit filled. It was like one person would come up, he'd preach and just like preach it. So good.
Was there breaks or was this 5 hours straight?
Oh, this was 5 hours sitting down and standing up, sort of thing.
Was there a lot of singing and dancing going
Oh,
on?
so we learned. So basically, it's great to like, as people like Westerners, instead of coming in and like being bossy or doing like you want to assimilate to the culture as quick as possible. So we like learnt the local language. We then learnt local dances. We would like wear the traditional clothes. Like you want to be as respectful as possible to the culture, the people. So like we would go up and we'd dance on the like doing the dances.
Can you remember any of the language?
I can, yeah.
Is there anything you could say?
So bula is hello.
Bula.
So as you walk down the street and someone's walking the other way, you would shout bula bula.
Okay.
And then vinaka veka levu is thank you very much.
I'm not going to
Oh yeah, I'm not going to try that one.
Bula vinaka is like hello formal.
Yeah.
So
You said it to like old people.
well, no, just like
Or just
just more
genuinely,
respectful people.
Yeah,
Like, and the biggest thing is that when you walk, so because Fiji is very relational, if you walk through a conversation, it's quite disrespectful. So you have to say tulo tulo, which means like I'm acknowledging your conversation. Like so normally if like people are talking in a circle like 2 or 3, you'd walk around it. You'd have to walk around it. But if there's like you can't walk. Like if I was walking through this conversation, I'd have to go tulo tulo and I'm like going this.
Yeah.
So it's like because they cherish like people's conversation and relationships. So like they want to be super respectful. So we then learned that, and we then had to like
do that.
It's like when you go past and you go, oh my bad, I'm really sorry.
So you'd say tulo tulo. Yeah.
Wrong do.
Yeah. So then after that we then went to Suva, which was the capital city, and that was amazing. Do I have time to share a testimony?
Mate, you have time for anything you want.
Okay,
This is a podcast.
let's go.
If they're still listening, it means that they want to
5
hear
hours
everything.
later. 5 hours later.
If they're still listening, it means they want to hear everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just put someone you work, and then like you can just like.
Yeah.
So we were in the first village, Ducati, and we were praying about like the time that we were spending in the next village in terms of like the ministry that we're going to do, the people we're going to meet, and like what we're going to do there. Because it's really important. Like if God is guiding you to do something, like He's got a plan there. Okay. So we were praying about it, and I really felt that we should, spend time with young adults, and the name Abraham really came to mind, and. We then went to the next village and there was no one called Abraham, and then we were then in Suva, which is the capital city, and we're doing evangelism, and that is just like talking to people, praying for people, sharing the gospel with people, and just trying to be lights out there. And we bumped into another YWAM team, which was cool. We actually went to a worship night in Suva, and there were 2 or 3 other YWAM teams there.
Wow.
So like
other places.
yeah.
How many people were there overall? Like
There was like maybe 200, 300 people there.
Wow.
So it was really cool. It was in a basketball arena. So they covered the floor.
Right.
Yeah.
They took away all the posts.
Yes.
And just had like the big screen, had like a worship and a
That's
band.
cool.
So like that was a prayer and intercession worship night. So that was like praying and interceding for like the country and all the pastors. That was incredible.
Wow.
And so we were doing evangelism. So we met another YM team, and they like sewed into us, and they like encouraged us, and then we prayed for 2 people called Tux and John, and then we bumped into a guy on the bridge who was wearing a Highlanders top, which if you don't know is a team in Dunedin, a rugby team.
Okay.
And we talked to him, and we said we asked him a question about the Highlanders just to like make conversation, and then we just got straight into it, and we said, you know, do you have a faith? And he said, I did, but then the world dragged me down. So we then really encouraged him and telling him that God's a good father. He loves you, forgives you, he's got grace, mercy. He wants a relationship with you. And then we then said, you know, is there anything that we can pray for you about? And he said, you know, from today I want to be different. And we were like, wow, you know, he really wants to change. And then my friend Hayden shared his testimony of like his journey with Jesus. And then Hayden then said, you know, is there anything... Hayden then said, you know, we can lead you in a prayer of repentance and then accepting Jesus back into your life as your Lord and Saviour. So we then... he then said, yes, sure. So then he then accepted Jesus back into his life and prayer of repentance. And then accepted Jesus back into his life as his Lord and Saviour. And then... like normally sometimes like you do that with someone and then like it might be overwhelming for them, and then like you go away because of time and stuff, but then we then really said, okay, you know, get stuck into a church, you know, find a community that you can like that can build your faith, you know, read the Bible, read this bit of the Bible. So we really got to give him some tips, which was amazing, and Hayden did that, which was fantastic. And then we prayed for him, then we left him. But that guy's name was Abraham.
Wow.
So like that was incredible.
That is crazy.
You found him.
So like no, that's all God. Like that was incredible. So that was really special. And like hearing God's voice and then like trusting in Him. And when we first asked what his name was and it was Abraham, we were like, wow, something can happen.
Like, this is the moment, guys.
God's gonna move here.
Yeah.
So no, that was like incredible.
Gosh.
And then we finished up our time in Suva.
How many months into your entire trip was this, by the way?
So this was end of January.
So what, 4 months?
So we're 4 months in.
4 months.
Okay, yeah. So then we end up our time in Suva and we head back to Lambasa. Yes, I think no, we're in Latoka. Sorry. And what's really funny, okay, so what I felt...
Is this a place or an island?
So, Fiji, there's 2 main islands. There's Vanuatu, which is the bottom, I think, and Viti Levu is the top.
Right.
So, it's like splitting England in half. You've got a top island and a bottom island sort of thing.
North, south,
yeah. Okay. And so we then... Suva's in the south, so to come to Suva, we've just crossed over. And then we've then moved round the island. And we come to Latoka, which is like our final place before we... head back to New Zealand.
Right.
And this guy Tuepi, who we're really good friends with, we just got the feeling that like God was like putting people in our path to meet, and we just kept seeing him at like every place. We saw him in
No way.
We saw him in Mombasa, and then we saw him in Latoka, and he was in Jakarta, and then like
following you around
everywhere. It was so good, and like so he was like, oh yeah, I'm studying here, you know, do you want to meet up? And I was like, yeah, we're doing evangelism. Do you want to come and join us? So he joined us, all right, and we then walk about the town, and we then go into the park, and we just see in the park, like, people just lying on mats, lying on cardboard mats.
Right.
And then...
What were they doing?
They're ill. So we then, one guy comes, like, he's like, come over here. And, like, this guy's, like, signaling to us to come over. And we haven't met him before.
Right.
And, like, we haven't walked over to him. We're, like, 20 metres away, and he's, like, calling us over.
Gosh.
And he's like, oh, can you pray for me? I've got, like, a spiritual headache from, like, being, like, near witchcraft in a village. And the guy's a Christian. And me, Oscar, and Tuepi prayed for him. And, like, that headache went away.
Gosh.
And then we then went over to the next person. And then, like, we prayed for his back, and, like, which was in pain. And he said, like, my back went cold and the pain went away. Wow. And, like, we literally went for, like, next person after next person, next person.
Down the line.
And,
so
like,
cool.
and, like, God moved. and it was like it was incredible. It was so cool.
I've got a
That's
question.
incredible.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
How come we don't hear about demons and witchcraft as much in England?
Well, I don't think. I mean, it's. I mean, I just think.
These different understandings of.
Yeah,
maybe like mental illness or
I think
something?
it's.
Like mental
Yeah.
illness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they might be praying for like recovery from that. Could it be sort of equivalent understanding?
Maybe it's just concentrated
quite-
bad
yeah.
stuff.
I'm not
think
quite
it-
sure. I think it's just like having the discernment to see where it is.
Mm.
Because like the God in Fiji is the same God of New Zealand and England. Like it's God of the world and the universe.
Just different words
Yeah.
for it, different
Yeah.
understandings.
But like you've just kind of have faith that God will move. And like so we literally went from one person to the next and
Okay.
just saw like healings. It was awesome.
That is awesome.
And then Swirpy then had to go. So then we went back with him and his grandma or auntie really like blessed us with some money for a meal.
Oh.
And this was like our last meal with him. And we had chicken fried rice
Really?
and I bought some ice cream and it was a really great time.
Yeah.
And then we said goodbye and then as we were walking away we then turned around and then ran back towards each other and then get a hug. So in
It's
slow
like the
motion.
ending of a movie.
It was like it was like a movie. But
You walked
like,
off into the sunset.
Yeah.
but I was messaging him and I said like it's not a goodbye, it's just see you later.
Yeah.
Aw.
So yeah, like he's
That's really
such a great
sweet.
guy. I love his family. But
Amazing.
so that was our time in Atoka, and then we had one day working on the boat. So we were scraping off the barnacles off the bottom of the boat. So we
Yeah.
dived down with scuba goggles on,
Oh, under the water.
and we then get like a pallet, like a wallpaper scraper.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
then like scrape it. But we then we were told that we had to take the boat from the port out into the ocean. And there were 4 scrapers and like 13 of us, so the rest of the time was fishing, jumping off the boat.
Oh, so you did this like in the ocean, or did you do it in the
So
harbour?
we did half it in the harbour,
Yeah.
and then we said we can't do it in the harbour, we've got to do it in the ocean.
And swim underneath.
So you swam out in the ocean to swipe off barbacles?
So
Barbacles?
no, but
Barnacles.
no, 4 people did, but there
Yeah.
because there's 11 of us as a team,
Yeah.
and then 2 contacts,
Mm.
like there wasn't enough, so like we just chilled.
Yeah.
So it was quite nice actually.
That's cool.
But
I still find that scary to do it in the ocean.
it's pretty deep.
Barnacle, yeah,
Yeah.
in the ocean. I can do it in the harbour, not in the ocean.
Do you get great whites out in the New Zealand area?
We do in Australia, but
Yeah.
not in New Zealand. I don't know about Fiji though.
Well, speaking of fishing, so I bought a fishing rod for Fiji
Yeah.
that was like $45, which is like £22
Mm.
Yeah.
roughly. I caught 0 fish with it.
Oh.
and then I caught a fish using a plastic bottle.
What?
Which was so good. So how they do it in Fiji is they get a bottle,
Yeah.
they get a fishing line, they tie the fishing line to the bottle,
Right.
Yeah.
okay, and they get a hook and a sinker,
Mm.
and you put your bait on the hook,
Yeah.
the sinker sinks it down in the water,
Yeah.
but you throw it off the bottle and it goes, and it comes off the bottle, and then you just slowly wheel it in. You just hope that the fish bites. So
bottle.
I caught 2 fish with that.
Mm.
And like you can feel the fish pulling, you got to hand reel it in.
Right.
Yeah.
And like the fish was like a quarter-pound of fish, like it was tiny.
It was still a fish.
It was like,
fighting for his life.
and it was like
Yeah.
and I just couldn't hold it after
Yeah.
I picked it up. It's like all slimy and like slippery, but it was like I managed to get hold of it, and then I took a picture and sent it to my friend. But it
Your
was,
camera roll must be stacked full of like these these scenic photos.
I
around
mean,
the world.
I mean, our outreach video is on YouTube, so
Give it a
Check
plug.
out.
Give it a
yeah,
plug.
plug.
What was it called?
YRM Queenstown, Fiji, New Zealand outreach video.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, so that was like one of our last days in Atoka. Then we flew back and missed our flight.
No.
Oh.
Which
There's an interesting story, isn't there?
Oh my word, this is like, God just has a sense of humour. It is just awesome. So we just missed our flight because we were like, we had stuff to declare. We had like passport control,
sorry.
baggage,
Mm.
picking up, like checking it in, then security. Like and our flight had been delayed on our first flight, so we had an hour to do all of that. We missed it, and we were like, okay, that's fine. We're sleeping in the airport. Get the next flight in the morning. All right, and then me and Stephen go, let's go grab some food. Walk past Dunkin' Donuts. All right, and they're like, oh, sorry. So we then make eye contact with them, and they're like, oh, sorry guys, we're closing. So we walk past. Then Stephen goes, hey Ned, do you know they chuck away all their donuts at the end of the day? And it's like, I think it's like 7, 8, 9 o'clock now.
Yeah.
We then just turn our heads and walk straight towards Dunkin' Donuts.
This is just a movie, isn't it?
And it's like, and we're like, oh guys, we heard that you like chuck away all your donuts at the end of the day. We've just missed our flight. We're sleeping here tonight. You know, can we have some free donuts? And they're like, yeah, sure. Just buy one and we'll give you some free ones.
Oh,
So
sweet.
I then hand them a $20 New Zealand note,
Yeah.
and they put it in the cash register, and then they then literally like take it out of it and give it straight back to me. I'm like,
Oh,
what?
well, yeah.
And then they then package up 12 donuts in a box
Oh.
and give us 12 donuts.
Oh.
It's so cool.
Nice.
And then we then give that to our outreach team.
Yeah.
And then we then go back to Kaylin, our outreach leader, who's at the Air New Zealand desk, and they're like, "Oh, you guys got to check in." We're like, "What for?" And then they're like, the guy just asked me, "So how many hotel rooms do you guys want?" And it's like, "What do you mean? What do you mean? How many hotel rooms?"
You thought you
do
were
want?"
sleeping on the floor.
Yeah. And they're like, the guy said he can offer us each a hotel room each.
Oh,
So we then get, there's 11 of us and we get 10 hotel rooms.
God, dude. God, dude.
And then
God, dude.
and then we then get bussed to the hotel. We then get food at the bar, like a burger or pizza.
Yeah.
Watching football actually.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So there was like, I think there was
Was did you have Premier
Brentford
League?
Brentford v Tottenham on.
What?
On like, I think it was on demand, but we hadn't
Yeah,
watched
yeah.
sport in like months.
Yeah.
And
It's
then,
anything you can, yeah.
and then there was the 2019 World Cup on.
Oh,
The
really?
final.
Yeah. Yeah.
The 2019 World Cup.
Cricket.
Cricket.
Oh, okay.
And
the
um,
New Zealand England game.
yeah,
Which
so-
New Zealand got robbed in.
Ben Stokes, shut
Yeah.
up.
Wait, so it was replaying?
Half key.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like we haven't watched sport in ages. So
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
quite fun. And then what was even cool was there was a 24-hour gym next to my hotel room.
So you got to go to the gym.
So there was like 5 of us or 6 of us in the
Yeah.
gym at like 12 o'clock at night.
So then you accidentally missed 10 more flights and just
Yeah.
lived there for a month.
Yeah. So we then got hotel breakfast in the morning,
Mm.
and then went back to Queenstown. Met the January school, who had arrived, who were awesome.
The younglings.
Yeah.
The new apprentices.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so
of course, yeah,
because obviously we were October, they're January. We just
Yeah.
came back,
Yeah.
and they'd
You're
only
the
had
pros.
like 2 weeks,
Oh,
so they were
wow.
like new there.
Yeah.
So it was really cool just being able to sew into them and just
Mm.
being able to like make new friends and encourage them, because like we'd loved lecture
been
face
through
so
it.
much. Yeah,
Mm.
man. So we headed back to New Zealand for the rest of outreach, and then so Dunedin was first stop. We did a lot of like young adult ministry, so we hung out with Micaiah, Ollie Cleland, and East Tyree Church, which was great. We did a carnival there, so we learned how to do like balloon animals. Me and Stephen barbecued, and there were like 600 people came. So
600?
from the community, like to like everyone brought like their sort of skill, and then like
Okay.
gave it away
Yeah.
for free sort
Yeah.
of thing. So like people barbecued, people did like balloon animals, face paints.
That's really nice.
So we did that, and then that was really cool. So then we got to hang out with like the young adults in the church.
Mm.
We then went up the east coast, up north the east coast, to Timaru, where we helped a guy called Paul out and progress the vision that God had given him for like his campsite. He really wanted to bless people with the land that he had by providing like free stay or like donations for stays
Yeah.
to like provide peace. So we did like 11 days of like 10 days of like yard work. And when you have 11 people doing yard work like every day, like stuff gets
That's a lot.
Done.
Of
Yeah.
stuff gets done. like 9 till 5, like we got stuff done, which was awesome. And like we had a really like send it group. So like we had like no one complained, everyone just
Yeah.
cracked
That's what you
on.
want though. That's
Everyone
class.
cracked on, did it, and like we had people with like experience of like people farmed. Like Hayden did like an excavating company in the States, and like people like knew the way around like yard work, so it was super cool.
Unreal, man.
And then from Timaru we then headed up to Christchurch, where we did some youth work. We did Red Frogs. So Red Frogs is like ministry which helps people at like parties, festivals, people who have drunk too much, people who have had drugs.
Street passes.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
but we do it at festivals.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we would like try and be the hands and feet of Jesus, and we would try and point people to medics. We'd catch vomit. We would give out lollies, give out water.
Yeah.
So we would just like, it was great fun. We got to go between the crowd and the band, walk in the front,
Right.
and give out water. We got to like just walk around this festival. There's about 35,000 people there.
Was there any big
Wow.
names playing?
There was New Zealand band. Do you know any New Zealand bands? 660.
660.
Uh,
I know the brand 660. No, I don't
Okay.
know the brand. Lord's Kiwi, I don't know. She might be.
Okay.
How many people did you help?
Oh,
What was the other thing? Was it?
I don't know. We handed out so much water.
Yeah.
And so many red frogs.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then
So you're handing out red frogs.
so red
so-
frogs are lollies. They're
Right.
candies.
Okay.
Because I was on.
Yeah.
So the origin was like that was how they managed to get into these parties because they gave out these red frogs which people wanted. So
Okay.
It's just-
Sweets. Yeah.
it's just a great way of like just like serving and like being like the hands and feet of Jesus. So it was really cool of like being able to look after people.
Yeah.
So we did that in Christchurch. Did some work in the church.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went across to Westport, which is on the west coast, and then we did lots of yard work for people's private homes. So like when you have 11 people in a back garden, like so much gets done. It was amazing to be able to bless people. We did work in a church, and what was like really cool was like same with the yard work in Timaru. Like it's so rewarding seeing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And like you can get like a before and after picture and be like, wow, we did that. It was really cool.
What kind of yard work would it be? Would it be like?
So like clearing hedges, clearing bushes, you know, like making flower beds.
Gardenscapes. Stuff my mum watches.
Yeah.
So we do that, and then we then finish off by debriefing in Castle Hill, which is where Narnia's filmed. So we spent 3 days there, just being together as a team.
Yeah.
Going through highs and lows and what how we saw God move, and it was really really cool.
I suppose you saw any of the Lord. Was it Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings is around Queenstown.
Yeah, so Lord of the Rings. So
Yeah.
our base is under the Remarkable. So if you look up like the mountain range is what is used in Lord of the Rings.
So they're sort of
so
hiking
cool.
along.
That's
so
That's
cool.
like the Remarkable.
Yeah.
It's pretty
So
nice.
I love Lord of the Rings. I'd love to go see
Yeah,
that.
that's cool.
I'll have to go just to see it.
Yeah.
And then you followed the route down Nelson, Fox Glacier.
So that was afterwards. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm getting ahead of
No,
us. Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah. So then we then came back for a debrief week. So that's where we come back as a team, and obviously we see the other team that have been on outreach, and like that was so cool. Like when you've done like life and you've journeyed through like faith and everything with like your best friends, and then you don't see them for like 2 months,
Wow.
like 10 weeks.
Oh, so you split up.
You split up,
Yeah.
So like seeing them was like so much fun.
Yeah.
Like it was great. Like driving in, and because they arrived at base like 2 days earlier than us, they were already there. So we drove in, they all ran out. And
Right.
it's really nice.
Yeah.
Unreal stuff. And so I guess there's only one thing that we can talk to you about in terms of this trip that we haven't covered yet, and that's your solo travels.
Yeah. So after we finished debrief week and we graduated on the Friday, I then set off travelling on Sunday. So I went to Milford Sounds, which is the glaciers. No, not glaciers. They're just like fjords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then came back, went to Lake Tekapo, then went up to Christchurch, in Christchurch, Kaikoura, which is like where dolphins and whales are.
Yeah.
And then went from Kaikoura up to Nelson. I saw a cricket game there, and
Did you enjoy your own company? Just chilling.
looking back, like it was good fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But then like doing it with friends would be nice. But
I didn't realise this. Solo, literally
Yeah.
solo.
Oh,
So,
so, yeah.
how did you rent a van? or
I
something?
was just getting the bus.
just getting
Yeah.
coaches.
Coaches up,
Wow.
Yeah. So I was staying in hostels, cooking for myself.
That's so cool.
And yeah, just meeting people. Like I was on a walk in Nelson after like being there for half an hour.
Mm.
Yeah.
I met two people. A guy called Kenny Duke, who had a bow on his back, like a compound bow,
Right.
because he was going hunting.
Yeah.
And I told him about YWAM, and he was like, "Oh, come to church with me tomorrow." So
Mm.
they picked me up from my hostel,
Mm.
and
What?
then we then grabbed coffee. They went to church,
Wow.
and the church that they went to, I'd met people who went to that church when I did Red Frogs in Christchurch.
Wow.
So, like,
yeah.
it was like
That's
small world.
The story all came together.
Yeah. So like that was really cool. Like just God blessing me there, and then
Amazing.
went Nelson, then went down to Fox Glacier in one day, which was 10-hour coach.
Oh.
But
You're
stop-
used to that by now.
Yeah.
But then stopped off at like Punakaiki, Hokitika, which are like rock formations, gorgeous.
Right.
And then I then went to Wanaka, did Roy's Peak.
Monica's good.
Roy's Peak, which was
Like a hike.
a hike. It's about a 7 hour hike. 4 hours up, 3 hours down. 3 hours down. Basically, to Josh, did it in 3 hours round trip.
Oh,
Hiked up in like 2, and then ran
running?
down. Ran down.
that's unreal.
So as you're walking up, you get these people who are running down.
Yeah, and you're like,
It's
fair play.
Oh my word! But like the view was really good, and then the Wanaka tree, yeah, and then just staying in hostels there, and then came back to Queenstown for one night, which was really special. Like that was on the day before Lordship Friday, which is pretty big in like DTS schools.
And so what is that?
So that is Mark Parker. So that Friday was the week that I got baptized in.
Okay.
Wow.
When I was doing my DTS, and it's like
Back in the day.
yeah, it's like making Jesus the Lord of your life, like laying stuff down for the cross, and then like picking up good habits, and then like it's just a really really big day, and it's yeah. So I got there on the Thursday, had worship night there, and then I then left in the morning, but the morning was Lordship Friday, and also it was Good Friday, and then went to Dunedin to see some friends, but the friends that I was seeing were also doing an Easter camp there.
Yeah.
So I spent Easter Sunday in Dunedin doing like
That's so special.
a Satellites, but like for like 150 people, like a
mini festival.
Yeah. Like a church camp.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So there was a band there, worship. There was fun games, bonfire, laser tag, bouncy castle,
Yeah, we're back here.
worship.
Waffles.
Yeah, like it was awesome. And like on the last night they had like the leaders prophesying over the kids, and like amazing worship, and it was really lovely.
Wow.
And then explored a bit of Dunedin the day after the camp, and then with some friends, and then flew out the next day. So I spent the last days with some good friends.
Really
So it was
special.
nice. Yeah.
Did other people stay like do solo stuff in New Zealand from the
Yeah.
YWAM as well?
3 boys from my school bought a van and travelled for a month, but there just weren't enough seatbelts for me, sadly.
No.
So, but like
Sounds like it's very character building though to do this on the last bit on your own.
yeah, no, it definitely taught me a lot. It was good though. I enjoyed it. And then a couple people travelled for like half a week sort of thing, but a lot of people felt called home and like to go to different places. So yeah.
It's really interesting.
So what's next then?
So
next
you
for
get
Ned?
home. So you get home, and then
Yeah.
what are the thoughts for next? Yeah.
So next, I'm actually going on the 1st of June to America.
Yeah.
I'm doing Camp America.
Oh,
Oh
lovely.
wow, yeah, I'd love
Wow.
to do
Do you
something
know
like that.
where?
It's coming quite soon, isn't it?
Maine in the US.
Yeah, north. Like New York.
Yes, you've got
Yeah.
New York, and then you've got Portland.
Mm.
Going to Maine with my cousin, so we're working in the same department on the waterfront.
Oh, that'd be chill.
So that could either be lifeguarding or driving boats or jet skis,
That's cool.
driving the boat where people will be water skiing and jet skiing.
Oh,
behind.
nice.
Right,
Cool.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big thing you've got coming up.
So yeah, but then between then, the Lord has really blessed me with like opportunities to like speak about YWAM. So I'm speaking at
Yeah.
church,
Of course,
the podcast here, and then I found this really good. It's like a community, like a Christian community that comes together to play football
Okay.
every Monday. It's called Bridge the Gap,
Yeah.
and it happens like all across England.
Okay.
And like this like community comes together, and you play like an hour and a half of football a week. So playing some of that.
Where are you doing that?
It's in Crawley.
Oh, lovely.
Nice.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a little
Sounds
bit of a drive, but I enjoy it.
like you've got a pretty stacked life then.
And then, but no, I've started Bible in a year, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And that's definitely a habit, which is great. And I'm learning lots. But just trying to keep in contact with people, trying to see old friends that I haven't seen in a while. Because like having a month is like it's good time, but like I'd see some friends like that I haven't seen in a while. So, but I'm looking forward to it. It's a new journey. I've got the Lord with me, and it's a new chapter, but it's a chapter that I'm excited for.
And we started this like the telling of this incredible story with a nice beginning.
Yeah.
I thought for the ending we'd end with a piece of advice that you would give to someone who hadn't yet done something like this. So maybe yourself back in the day, who's just about to set foot into this adventure. To end this episode off, what is one piece of advice that you give to yourself when you started off this adventure?
Wow. That's a great question.
It doesn't have to be difficult. Just a little piece of advice.
I would say chase after the Lord and people who chase after the Lord as well, because like having a community of like young people that are just like on fire for the Lord is like the best thing ever, because like iron sharpens iron, and like you become a better person, and like you make like the best friends ever, and it's just like you get your life changed.
Ned, mate, this has been like the best 2 hours of my week. I've loved it.
I've got so many more questions I could ask.
We might have to do a part 2.
We might have to do a part
Yeah,
2.
I would be stoked to do a part 2.
This has been a lot of fun. We've learned today what 6 months, living the dream of a Christian looks like. The adventures in New Zealand and Fiji, and the past 6 months of Ned Littlemore's life. Ned, mate, thank you so much.
No worries.
Honestly, it's been an honour to hear this and tell this.
That was good.
That was. We might have to do part 2.
That was good.
Thank you for listening. Thank you to Ned. If you enjoyed the podcast, consider leaving a 5-star rating on Spotify. Follow us on Instagram at the Mandem Podcast, and we'll see you in the next one.
Charlie owes you a pack of marinades.
Yeah. Will got there first. Charlie and Will, thank you, boys. It's been an honour.
Brilliant. Thank
Cheers,
you very
guys.
much.